mean, I don't know that there's too many teams in America that are going to come out of the blocks fast, that are playing with predominantly freshmen, sophomores, and a point guard and a player at point guard who's never played point guard before. And so I think that we just would have liked to have had, obviously some of those games back, but I also know that we're being, a little naive if we don't factor in what we were dealing with at the beginning of the year. And I think we felt like there were so many games, whether it was Army or Wyoming or, a few other times that we were it could have gone either way going down the stretch, and we just felt like we couldn't get a break. We felt like we did everything right. We did more right things than the other guy did, and we just couldn't get the break we needed. And then against Nevada, we did more right things than the other guy did, and we got the break that we needed, and we won that game. But then against Long Beach, we didn't do more right things than the other guy. So that one was more upsetting, I think, than the other games where we just couldn't catch the break. But for the most part, everybody was doing the right thing. And but in the Long Beach game, we didn't do the right things down the stretch, and it cost us. Fullerton's pretty good. I mean, keep an eye on Fullerton. They're going to win some games. They have a lot of transfers, and they've got a very talented point guard, probably as good of a guard as we may play against all year. She's just really good. And I thought they were pretty good, and I thought we played okay. We didn't play great, but we certainly played pretty well, and they were just better on their home court. It'll be fun to have them up here, but I think on their home court they were just better. But Long Beach, we felt like we should have had that one.
Coach, your New Year's resolution is what?
Win more games.
How are you going to do that?
Well, the way we look at it right now was, we're 1-1. The thing about college basketball is all about January and February. And I kept reminding him of that the whole time we went through the preseason, that all that matters is how we're playing in January and February. And if we're making progress, we're going to be okay with it. It's nice to have Brianna back, and we had her in the California games. She fouled out of the Long Beach game, but we had her in both of those games. But even though it's so nice to have her back, and it's definitely going to help us, and we're definitely going to be better because she's back, it was still a huge adjustment. All of a sudden, we had a completely different point guard, and Kaylin moved over to the wing, and it was an adjustment after we'd played so many games with Kaylin at the point guard. And so hopefully the adjusting time is over. We're ready to start playing some good, solid, consistent basketball. I feel that if we can just be solid every night. One of our problems has been we've had, key players. Almost every game there'll be some key player that just doesn't play well. And it's okay to not play great, but it's not okay to play poorly, particularly with, your more veteran players. And so we're trying to get that home to everybody that it's time to just be solid. And then we have enough weapons that we can get some points. We can generate the points we need. We've got to get better defensively, got to get better on the boards, need more production out of the post position, that sort of thing.
Some of the inconsistency, was that just from some of your players not being accustomed to being in the position that they were in?
If I knew the answer to that question as to why they're one way one time, I do think that, again, a lot of that's youth. I know it seems like we've been playing freshmen and sophomores, for the last couple of years. I felt like 2 years ago was when we got to the starting line. So finally we were at the starting line. So now comes the actual building and progression towards having a veteran, solid team. I can't wait till I show up in September and I know exactly who my team is, exactly who we're going to be, who's going to be doing what, and we start right from the get-go preparing for that team to perform at its highest level. And we still haven't had that luxury yet. We will have, Cassidy is going to start to play. She won't be playing in games quite yet, but she is starting to practice. Hopefully that'll give us just a little bit more depth at the post position. And like I say, I think Autry being back is going to be big.
With Autry not being able to practice also, like how is it going to take longer to integrate her back into everything fully?
Well, she was able to practice, but we would often excuse her from practice so she could do something related to her academics. And she was anytime you're in the position she was in, you're marginalized. It's still not the same as putting you into the lineup and having the coach on your case because you didn't do this or didn't do that, and you have to be ready, that sort of thing. She was practicing, but she was practicing as a somewhat marginalized player because we knew we couldn't put her in the game. And then about a week before we were pretty sure we were going to have her, then we started, I just put her straight in. We didn't, no games here. It was just, you're the best point guard we have. You're going straight in. And you did pretty much what we asked you to do academically, and you had a great attitude. She had a great attitude all through the whole fall. Worked really hard, did everything she could to help get everybody ready. Harassed Kaylin Immel into, sometimes total frustration some days because she had to deal with Bree's defense, and it made Kaylin better. It made Kaylin, whose handles were very suspect probably at the beginning of the year, it made her get better. So Bree was awesome. So as soon as we knew we had her, she's going to be our point guard.
And what is the situation with Cassidy now? Because there's some sort of injury too, right? It's not just the.
No, hers is strictly her knee. She is now officially finished with her medical turnback, and will start classes next week, along with everybody else. Once the first semester ended, she could then be a part of the team again. So that was the only requirement. It's just like a transfer situation. They had to finish that first semester before, and then she had to be enrolled for classes second semester, and she was, and so we were able to start integrating her. But hasn't been completely cleared from the surgery yet. She's starting to do some things. But she's not ready to go full speed ahead, rebound, dig in on defense, all that kind of stuff. Still needs a little more time for that.
Have there been complications? Because it's 10 months, right?
She had the surgery in February. So, yeah. No, I wouldn't say there's complications. I think it's just the fact that she wasn't practicing with us. It would have been one thing if she'd been practicing and getting herself used to being a player playing with her situation. I think she'd be a little bit further along. I think we just don't want her. She would play right now. This isn't Cassidy saying, I don't want to be out there. This is just us being a little more cautious. Wanting her to feel really good about being out there. So I think she'll be playing in games by this weekend. I really do. But she hasn't been practicing. So she's way behind in that capacity. She didn't practice until right before Christmas. So I think that's as much of an issue as getting that knee up to speed.